After graduating high school at 5'8", 130 pounds, I was sick of being the small, skinny guy. Going into college, I knew that it was time to start taking the gym seriously and put on some muscle. But when I started out, I had no idea how far it would go. All I wanted was to be more confident, especially with women, and be physically ready to do any activity or adventure that I wanted. 5 years later, I was 180 pounds and pretty lean, as you can see from the thumbnail. I'm actually even a little bit bigger now at about 188 pounds, but I'm a little bit higher body fat, sitting around 16%. This transformation was so powerful for me, I actually ended up switching my major from computer science to dietetics to learn more about nutrition so that I could help other guys like myself with the same journey. In this video, I'm gonna share with you how I gained those 50 pounds of muscle so that if you want to, you can too. Step 1. Start lifting. I know this sounds like a pretty obvious step, but I think it's underplayed because lifting isn't just about lifting weights. It's about a skill. And that's a skill that you need to get down early on because once you start to get stronger, it's really hard to check your ego because it's fun to lift heavy. But you need to learn how to truly lift properly early on so that you don't hurt yourself later on, so that you can actually get a lot better muscle growth from having proper form and understanding what the movement is actually trying to target. The reason I say that this is such an important skill is because I think that this is a lot harder of a skill than people make it out to be, and it takes a lot more time. So making sure that you can put in the reps, pun intended, so that you can continue to get better at the actual movement will help you so much more, especially things like avoiding injury and, like I said earlier, stimulating the muscle that you're actually trying to stimulate and not just a bunch of other movements as you do your cheat curls or throw up weight that you just can't handle on certain movements. The other part of this is just experimenting, finding what you find enjoyable and fun in the gym, because at the end of the day, sustainability is super underrated. If you can find something that you like to do that challenges you and does the sciencey part of helping you actually grow muscle, then you're gonna stick with it a lot longer. And building muscle at the beginning is pretty fast. As you get farther and farther along and closer to what some consider your genetic ceiling, it gets slower. And you need to find the joy in it so that you can keep going even when things kind of slow down. Step 2. Track your calories and macronutrients. And notice how I didn't say dial them in perfectly right off the bat. I think one of the most powerful things that you can do is learn food to a level that 90, maybe even 95% of people don't know food. Because when you track your calories, you really start to understand how many calories a certain food or amount of food has, how much protein, carbohydrates, fats that food contains, and how to balance your macronutrients over a given day, because that is also a skill. It takes a long time to find routines that work for you. And by the time you find good routines, you start to get sick of the food that you're eating so routinely, and you need to switch up your routine so that it's exciting again. Pretty much all of my clients, when they first start with me, I tell them to track for at least a couple days without changing a single thing, because nothing is more eye-opening than seeing what your intake looks like, your protein intake, the carbs, fats, and realizing how far off the mark you actually may be. Most of my clients are pretty far off as well. And then once you have an idea of what you're eating, then you can start making adjustments, finding a routine. But this is nice to do at the beginning, because when you're getting those newbie gains in by just lifting hard in the gym, just by being more active, your muscles are growing super fast. The nutrition is very important, but it's not as important. You can get away with a lot early on. And then as you start to grow more muscle, then you got to dial in your nutrition. But tracking early on would just give you a great idea of foods, macros, so that when you do get to that point that you need to dial in, it's so much easier and you're ready to execute as soon as it does become important. Step 3, learn to sleep. This may be a funny way of putting this, right? We all know how to sleep. We've all laid in bed and fallen asleep at some point. But learning to sleep is so much more than just doing it sometimes. Learning how to sleep really well all the time is one of the most impactful things when it comes to building muscle, because the truth is, we don't build muscle when we're working out. We build muscle when we're asleep. Working out is simply the stimulus so that our body has a reason to grow, but it really happens while we're sleeping. So, if we can make sure that our sleep is as good as possible, then we will put ourselves in a position to be able to grow muscle the best. There's also another portion of this, which is just feeling more energized throughout the day. If you sleep well, then you're more likely to feel ready to go to the gym or have enough energy to do some meal prep or put together some different meals so that you can be ready to do the other portions, work out, eat healthy, hit your macronutrients. So, dialing in your sleep early on can be really helpful and set you up for a lifetime of success, especially because everybody has points in their life where sleep gets worse. So, if you can be ready and have great sleep, then you can be ready for those moments when things get a little bit rocky. Step 4, dial in. So, after you have really gotten into working out, you have a good routine, you understand what it's like to push yourself, get close to failure, you've tracked your macronutrients and your calories, you understand how to do that process, you understand how to weigh things out. You understand what it looks like in a day to eat the right amount of calories, of macronutrients, and how you personally can do that sustainably with your other responsibilities in life. And your sleep is A1 steak sauce, as good as you can get. Then it's really time to dial in these factors. Now you can start to structure your workout program in a way that is a lot more effective. And because you've worked out already, you've gotten a lot of those newbie gains. So maybe the progress is starting to slow down and the structure of your workout program starts to matter way, way more. The amount of rest, the amount of sets, the way that you push yourself to failure using things like drop sets or special techniques. This is when you want to start implementing those things. For nutrition, really making sure that you're starting to hit a macronutrient distribution that is much better. Check out my channel because I have videos on all the macronutrients and calories, how to calculate your exact values. I'll put them in the description below so that you can find them. You can watch those videos to help you figure out exactly what your numbers are. And really dialing in your sleep. Anything that you might have missed in your sleep routine or maybe supplementation that could help you sleep better. Now is the time to dial in those things. There's a period of time where your gains are going to be good by just doing something, what we call newbie gains. As you get past those newbie gains and things start to slow down, now we can dial in and we can be a lot more specific. I think the problem with dialing in too early is that it becomes stressful. There becomes a lot of things that we're focusing on that we don't really need to focus in on yet. And then when it's time and the things matter, then we can start to focus on what is going to take us to that next level. Step number 5, patience. This is the thing we never want to hear because in today's day and age with social media, we're always looking for quick dopamine hits. Our bodies are not in the new Instagram, TikTok era. They are probably adapted to a couple million years ago, to be honest. And things happen really slow. Like I keep talking about, those newbie gains will come fast. In a year, you can see amazing, insane progress. After that, if you're really starting to have good workout programs and dial in your macronutrients, things are going to come at an okay pace, but they will start to slow down and it will be frustrating. But if you are serious about putting on a good amount of muscle, it's going to take some time. For me, it took about 5 years. And with all the resources that you have that I didn't have at this point in my journey, you're probably going to be able to do it faster than that. But it still will take maybe 3, maybe 4 years in order to put on that much muscle or whatever amount that you want. So make sure that you're doing the right things. Constantly be a student of this game, learning more about nutrition, learning more about your workouts, learning more about sleep. If you can learn those things and tune out a lot of the noise that this industry loves to talk about, do the things that work for a long period of time, you're going to grow and you're going to be successful. Now, in this video, I hit a lot of the wave tops and we didn't dive too much into specifics, but go on my channel, watch the Build Muscle playlist, and you're going to get all the specifics that you need and more in order to be the most successful at building whatever amount of muscle that you want to build. And I'll see you over there.